Hello, dear viewer. Welcome to February. Based on your relationship status, this is either the worst or subsequently, actually also the worst month of the year. If you're sad, what do I have the video for you? I asked my viewers for the saddest songs they've ever heard, and today I'm going to rank them on this tier list here, based on how sad they really are. If you'd like a guaranteed spot in these videos, be sure to become a member. And without further ado, get started.
Gary, I'm sorry I neglected you. Oh, I never.
FA Nation says, Gary Come Home by SpongeBob SquarePants. I don't care it's about a cartoon snail, this still makes me cry. Sitting here with a bottle of tequila, grieving for a cartoon snail who would shortly return to the Bob within 5 minutes or so in the episode, I'd say. Honestly, it's a surreal song. It's incredible how, through the silliness, this is a really touching track. And a track a lot of people that grew up with the show can look back on with beautifully bittersweet memories. That's as serious as I can make the snail song sound. I don't know how to compare the snail song to anything else really, so it gets a new tier. I'm gonna call it Bob. Solomon McGuire says, Creep Unplugged by Stone Temple Pilots. The far superior Creep, dare I say. Don't note I've dared to say that at least 11 times now. I love this song to death. I think STP's Unplugged set is egregiously underrated, and this is certainly the most impactful song performed, I'd say. Really lets Scott Weiland just take over the track, and with the bare bones instrumentation, allows the beautiful lyricism to kind of just hit you. It's a great ass track. I'm gonna go GOAT tier. Aaron MWW says Blood's on Fire by Pinback. Solid track, I think. I'd never heard it before, and I can't say I'm too close to tears, but it's certainly got a sad nature to it. I like the song. It's alright. I'll say A tier. Ben Isn't Awesome says Don't Follow by Alice in Chains. Better than Nutshell. No, it's not. It's sad, though. Nowhere near as sad, I wouldn't say. But Jar of Flies top to bottom is perhaps the best bang for your buck you can get, assuming the buck is inconsolably crying in the shower. I'm gonna give this S tier. John RE7 says, Down in a Hole by Alice in Chains. I see you've strategically not used the unplugged version here, and I'm not sure what your strategy was. Both versions are incredible, of course, and I guess I almost always prefer the live version of these more heart-wrenching tracks. But the guitar work on the studio track here is just as incredible. Really hard to listen, especially live, but this is an incredible track regardless. Back at the GOAT tier.
We're sad enough to cry. Hi, hi.
Gazer Productions 7706 says, I'm sad the GOAT just died today by the Frogs. I'm unfamiliar with the Frogs, the game, I must admit, but I did note that every track on this album has a cartoonishly long name, and that should have been my first tell to the style of music here. Think Ween, but not the good one. It's kinda silly. I don't know if I'd say silly in a good way. Reminds me of the Pod. That's never good news. E-tier track. The GN000 says Basketball Shoes by Black Country New Road. Song that pulled together Isaac Wood, the lead singer's departure from music. Really a heartbreaker, especially in the context of the band's future, as you mentioned. Isaac Wood's final work, perhaps in the music industry entirely. And he uses that opportunity to really just kind of spill his guts on this track. I don't know if it's the saddest song on the album, but it's certainly the rawest and sounds, like I said, just directly from the heart. The top of the GOAT tier. Cyborg 4234 says Sullen Girl by Fiona Apple. Fiona Apple, no stranger to the inconsolably sad song genre, and I think this is a fantastic example of that. Her vocal delivery and, of course, her lyricism really just kind of tell a story, no matter the story she intends to tell. What I just said, if you didn't catch it, was that the words she say tell a story. Thank you for your time. This is peak, though. Top of the S tier. Beast Mode Mills 3435 says Pink Cigarette by Mr. Bungle. You've heard it, I don't need to explain. Ween boy. I didn't care for that. Don't use it like a slur, that hurts my feelings. As for the song, this isn't that sad, man. I'm not sure the Bungle exactly has the capability to deliver a sad song. This is as close as they could get. I'll give you that. Actually, no, it's not. I take that back. Retro Vertigo is as close as they can get. Because that song is hardly a Bungle song. The Bungle's recipe is being almost bizarre. And that makes it hard to kind of make a sad song, I think. I love the song, but I can't say I'm sad. E tier. Tim Wu 67 says True Love Waits, live in Oslo by Radiohead. Genuinely might be the saddest song ever conceived, but to be fair, you could probably make an argument for like 50 different Radiohead songs. You certainly could make that argument for just about every Radiohead song, but I do think this one belongs in the highest tier of misery. Absolutely. Everything about it, really. Nothing I can really pinpoint. The guitar work and the vocals themselves just sound so human here, so personal, and yet so easy to connect to. It's magic in a song, I'd say, and a song that far surpasses its studio counterpart on a moon-shaped pool. I'm sad. Top of the go tier. Oxide Like Oxide says Kitchenware and Candy Bars by Stone Temple Pilots. And the attached hidden track, My Second Album, but ignore that. This is a really great song. Incredible song, to be honest. Sonically, absolutely incredible. Just a really well done track. I love the production and the structure itself. It's just really satisfying to listen to. I like the song a lot, and lyrically it is pretty sad. That's probably as far as I'd go. I don't really connect to it too much. I do think these guys have sadder songs as well. One of them already being mentioned, but this song is fantastic and has a sad nature, sure. Top of the S tier.
How can nothing seem to last? Just like a cancer in your body at all.
Shag Nasty VA says This Too Shall Pass by Danny Schmidt. When I lost my grandma to cancer a few years ago, I found this jam and it kind of fucked me up. I'd say this track has a nicher sadness that I'm lucky to not be able to relate to, I guess. Very sorry for your loss. I like the track. Very simplistic, but I can't say I'm personally too devastated by it. But I absolutely understand your connection to it. It's good stuff. I'm gonna go top of A. As underscore says Pyramid Song by Radiohead. My curse to discuss Radiohead for the rest of my life? Perhaps. But it's songs like this that make it all worth it. Amnesiac, a relatively forgotten project in the grand scheme of things. But man, does it still pack that Kid A punch. Just a little bit weaker, I guess. This track is devastating, a beautiful reflection on life from a character who speaks from the end. Very solemn piano and the string work only kind of hammer that sadness even deeper. This is great. I'll say back of the go tier. Unknown Phantom Grin says Fade by Stained. Questionable politics aside, Aaron Lewis sure knows how to make songs I unfortunately relate to. I'm not the biggest Stained fan in the world. In fact, I'm not sure I'd call myself a fan at all. But I think even with my limited ball knowledge, I might be able to craft up a couple sadder Stained tracks. Aaron Lewis does have an incredible voice when he's not using it to, well, spew garbage. I don't know if it's exactly fully on display with this track either. That's the end of my sentence. Behind the Bungle in the B tier. Mr. H3321 says Collapse the Light into Earth by Porcupine Tree. Stephen Wilson is a depressing musical genius. My Porcupine Tree knowledge is limited, but everything I've heard from them has been pretty sick, I'd say. This track is no exception to that. Really beautiful song, especially the ending sequence. It just sounds very grand, very lush. Like the end, to be honest. I think that's exactly what they were going for. It closes the record it's on, and I think that makes great sense. Sad stuff. Behind Jar of Flies in the S tier. So as you read, there's no my friends. Grit6875 says A Tote de Lamont. Fuck. Grit6875 says some shit I can't say by Megadeth. About Dave saying goodbye to his loved ones and telling them they shouldn't be fearful or worried and to remember the good times they had with him. Very catchy and great guitar work. Pretty touching track, I guess. He didn't kind of go on to release music for another 30 years. Kind of tough to say goodbye 30 years in advance. I still love the sentiment. It's very catchy for sure. It's a good song. Back of the S tier. Upstairs in the back bedroom of our house. Untote 13 says Swims by Mount Erie. Genuinely devastating. I was going to write a nice little paragraph here like I usually do, but I think the words Jesus Christ better represent my thoughts on this song. Behind True Love Waits in the GOAT tier. Poppy Crisp says, Please Remember by Deaf Heaven. Although it just serves the album as an interlude, it cuts so deeply for me. The instrumentation starts out bleak and ends with the most melancholic guitar I've ever heard in my life. Maybe it works a little better in the context of the project. As an interlude, that would make sense. But the incredibly abrasive, that's the word I'm going to use, abrasive guitar for over half of this track makes it a little tougher for the more melancholic sound to really deliver, I think. I really like the second half. It's really beautiful. But I don't know if I'd say devastating or really sad. I'm going to go center of A. Tarkus 1971 says Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. It's a raw personal tribute to former bandmate Syd Barrett. Explores that someone you miss is still alive but not emotionally unavailable. The song is relatable to me. One of the most iconic songs ever written, I'd say. Not that that's a hot take, but I would say it, so I did. I love the song a lot, and it means a lot to me, as it seems to a lot of other people. I find it to be a very open-ended song, or at least kind of up to the listener to decide. You can label it as someone you miss that isn't emotionally available, but I think you're locking it down harder than it has to be locked down. It's just about missing somebody. As simple as that. And the beauty in that message and the universal nature of that feeling, I think, is what makes this song so incredible, so beautiful, and so powerful. Behind True Love Waits in the GOAT tier. Riedlebug says Sky Blue Skin by Jeff Buckley. Played this for my friend when he broke up with his ex, and I started crying. Man, I'd never heard this song. It feels like there's always another Jeff Buckley demo I've never heard, no matter how many I hear. And my God, they all cook. But I can't just gloss over that first part. You played this for your friend and you started crying. That's how you know some shit is sad, dear viewer. This guy's a primary source. That's gotta mean something. Behind basketball shoes. The GOAT tier.
Everybody's gotta learn sometime.
Tactical Meat says, Everybody's Gotta Learn Sometime by Beck. Perfect length for a hardcore, gut-wrenching sob over something that slipped between your fingers. I like it. I don't think I love it. Beck's never been a favorite artist of mine, so a cover from him isn't particularly catching my eye. Or I guess my ear, that makes more sense. A good track, but I'd say I prefer the original in kind of every way, to be frank. Top of the beats here. Iron Maiden fan 1998 says, Wasting Love by Iron Maiden. Forgive me, Iron Maiden fan 1998, but I'm afraid this is mid. I've never been the biggest Maiden fan in the world, period. But I can appreciate their better tracks when I do hear them. This one, got nothing to say. Kind of boring. Perhaps sad lyrically, but in a very general sense. Like they wanted it to be sad, but they didn't have anything sad to really say. The whole album has that problem, actually. They don't have much to say. Cool guitar work, though. Back a B.
Everybody's happy with everybody.
I Snort Crouton says, Joel by Glaive. Song from an artist that is not known for this kind of genre. Learning the backstory about a very close friend of his who killed himself and feeling unable to move on from it. Saying, because every time I'm happy, I can't help feeling like I abandoned you. That shit hits hard. The vocals kind of annoy me, I think. It's a very beautiful sentiment. I really like the sparse instrumental work on this track. I think it works well with the message. But the vocals kind of take me out a little bit. It's very sad. Were I 10 years younger, this might work for me. But at the ripe age of 103, I'm not getting too much here. A tier, behind this pink one. Mean says, Flood Part 2 by Boris. Remember having a really rough day when I first listened to those guitar solos, and I just weeped. Really melancholic, if soothing. Yeah, it's a really incredible track, especially picking the second part, which saves you the 15-minute introduction, which is good. But this is the real meat and potatoes of the song, I'd say. Sensational guitar, very bare bones, and really does sound like a flood. Whether a flood of emotion or a genuine flood, this track does exactly what it wants to do. And in the right frame of mind, it's devastating. And to do that without lyrics is all the more impressive. Top of the S tier. Ulf Schlagenheim 953 says, I Don't Want It by Ween. Might be the most emotional and heart-shattering breakup song I've ever heard. I understand it, but I don't want it. So many hard-hitting lyrics in this song. Gotta get some Ween in here, fellas. You know how I get down. One of my favorite songs ever, and it's truly one of the few songs to make me cry. Really one of the most powerful moments in their relatively kind of silly career. I think a track like this hits all the harder when it comes from a band that can make you smile on a terrible day. It's got incredibly potent lyricism. It's got a beautifully heartfelt guitar solo. Couldn't really be done better. Let's go tier from me. Behind True Love Waits.
Don't fool yourself. She was hard.
Stinka69 says Forget Her by Jeff Buckley. Songs hit harder when you have a personal experience to compare them to, and this is one I feel most people can. Absolutely, a devastating track. Truly, Jeff Buckley has got to be in the GOAT conversation, assuming the GOAT causes people to inconsolably cry in the shower again. It doesn't get much more potent than this. It's just a tragic breakup song. Maybe the breakup song, I'd even say. It's devastating, and I don't really want to talk about it anymore. Behind Ween in the GOAT tier. Kevin the Lord 5343 says, Babies in a Thundercloud by Godspeed You Black Emperor. Truly devastating view of the tragic loss of life that's happening in Gaza right now. Always moves me to tears. Godspeed You Black Emperor, another GOAT of sad songs, I'd say. And again, it's more impressively done with no lyrics. It really tells an entire story with just the instrumentation. And that's got to be hard to do. Not that I'd know, I'd never tried. I could probably do it if I wanted to. I just don't really feel like it right now. But after a bit of a quiet period from the band, and really when the world needed their music the most, I think, they came back with one of their greatest songs in the last 20 years, probably. Behind Mount Erie in the GOAT tier. Sam Rudroff 9543 says Snuff by Slipknot. Actually a pretty solid answer from Slipknot here. I've seen live shows of this song that genuinely kind of floored me, or at least 17-year-old me around 1,000 years ago now. It's a beautiful track that you just really wouldn't expect from these guys. It's a very heartfelt moment with beautiful instrumentation, and Corey Taylor really just showing his range here. Really strong performance from him, and a very open moment, I'd say. Very heartfelt. I'm going to go behind Down in a Hole in the GOAT tier. Mr. Penguin 8741 says Scratches by John Frusciante. Such a raw track that perfectly closes one of my favorite albums. The instrumentals build up a sad, somber atmosphere. Go perfectly. Frusciante's vocals. It's almost Chili Peppers, which makes me want to scream out in burning agony, but this song is Actually, it's pretty alright, I think. I don't think I'd go much further. I don't really love his vocals here, and I typically don't, but I think the guitar work is cool, and that's kind of what you want here. Just not really that captivating, I don't think. It's certainly sad. It's got that sad vibe, but nothing too notable, I wouldn't say. I'll go 8 tier above the pink one.
Promise that you will sing about me. Promise that you will sing.
RJ Cooper says, Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst by Kendrick Lamar. Probably the single most eye-opening and sobering songs ever for me. Arguably the greatest hip-hop song ever written, and for good reason. Kendrick is easily one of the best lyricists to ever live, and this is him at one of his rawest, most personal moments, especially this early in his career. It's beautifully sad, just a man kind of expressing his fears of being forgotten, and the resolution he finds through it. It's almost optimistic in a way. He shows the light he found at the end of his own tunnel. Whether or not you share that same light as him, it shows that it's possible. That it might not always be like this. Incredible track. Behind Wish You Were Here in the GOAT tier. Z Mulch says All My Friends by LCD Sound System. Song about getting older and the impact it has on our friendships. Really good song. I like it a lot. I don't know how sad I am, though. Well, actually, the everything about this band just provides so much energy that it makes it a little harder for the lyricism to kind of connect, I guess. I'm far too busy getting groovy, busting it down, if you would. No, it really is a touching track, I think. Very profound lyricism, and a story I feel like not a lot of songs tell. I'll say top of the S tier.
Making waves, you was surfing in them. Dealing with the stomach pain just from birthing nigga shit.
Bodie Nagenhelm says Grief by Earl Sweatshirt. You can genuinely feel every ounce of Earl's pain through every bar and the way he delivers it. While I can't relate to everything he's saying, this song is one of the most accurate representations of a depressed human mind that I've heard in all of music. Through art. I like the track. It definitely feels like a stream of thoughts and just kind of getting shit off his mind. I can always appreciate songs like that, I think. Lyrically, this is up there with his best work, probably. Super devastating, but the actual music itself, the beat, doesn't really do much to help. It's kind of bland, I think. I think it's an S-tier track. But I'm going to go behind Jar of Flies.
Hold on to hope if you got it.
Yopakir says 26 by Paramore. Makes me so sad I don't even want to talk about it. It's pretty sad, not the saddest stuff I've heard today, but it's got that sad recipe. Very light instrumentation. Hayley Williams, one of my favorite vocalists in rock, I'd say. Really well done. It's got a sweet message. I don't think I'd call it the most unique track I've ever heard, but it's good sad core slop. Back S tier. Microwave 76 says Disintegration by The Cure. The entire 8 minutes is just depressing. If you look closer into the lyrics, it makes you cry even more. Oh no, you don't. Above Grace in the GOAT tier. Zonia 2535 says A Day in the Life of a Tree by Beach Boys. Beautifully sad song. Kind of reminds me of Motion Picture Soundtrack by Radiohead sonically, in the way that it sounds kind of like a funeral. I don't think it's nearly as tragic as that song feels, but it's certainly sad. Very different perspective on a sad song, I think. Told from the perspective of a tree, but it's done as well as I think that concept could possibly be done. I'll go behind Fiona Apple in the S tier. Northwest Rain 2399 says Signs by Block Party.
Dude, I'm watching the stream while you try not to laugh, bro. That's disrespectful, bro. What's wrong with you, bro?
Top of C.
Might be staring directly at me.
Camels 10 says Window Pane by Opeth. Very sincere opener from these guys. Very out of left field track from Opeth, I feel like. This has none of what I really know the band for. No heaviness really found here, but it shows you how incredibly deep their bag once was. Pre the Peacock, of course. I like this a lot. I can't say I'm sad almost at all, but it certainly gave me a broader appreciation for the talent this band has. But again, I'm not that sad. A tier. Behind these two fellas.
Just drink hard drinks and laugh out loud.
Love F.R. Mari says Elephant by Jason Isbell. Personally love how it's just a snapshot in time and doesn't tell you whether she dies or not. Absolutely love Isbell and would love to see him in your video. I don't see the open-ended nature here. It sounds pretty blatant that she's dead, to be frank. But I think the song is solid. Certainly has a sad nature to it. Very pretty guitar and some solid enough vocals. Doesn't really do anything too fresh within the singer-songwriter genre, or even in the country-adjacent scene. It's not that fresh. Sad though, sure. I'll go A tier. Love the Chili Pepper guy.
And bury me in all my favorite colors.
Lisa E says Cancer by My Chemical Romance. Do I need to say more? No, probably not. Easily the most heartbreaking moment on the Black Parade. Now, most people find super devastating. I don't find it as sad. But this is certainly the height of the despair on this album. Really profound way of looking at death on this song. A song not really about the fear of death itself, I guess, but the fear of leaving everything behind, of never seeing your family again. Very touching moment on this project. This is sad stuff. Behind Down in a Hole in the GOAT tier.
Bring me your time.
John Nickelback, Grab Thy Hand by Chevelle. Never have I been this not sad in regards to a, quote, sad song in my entire life. This is high energy. This is exactly what I expect to hear from Chevelle, and it does what it sets out to do. It does it well enough, but the saddest part of this whole experience was listening to Chevelle itself. Top of C. That's all I have written here. Thank you very much for watching, dear viewers. Subscribe if you enjoyed, maybe, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.